$100,000.
The heat wave claims more lives, and it's not going away anytime soon. In some places, the air is so thick, it's easier to see than breathe. Republicans in Congress pushed their tax cut plan despite a caution from the Fed and a warning from the president. And the story of a heroic effort to save the children the world forgot.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. Dan is off tonight. I'm John Roberts. We're beginning with the CBS Weather Watch because the heat wave is growing deadlier by the day and shows no signs of leaving. Take a look. Another day of red-hot 90-plus temperatures across the map. The heat-related death toll is now more than 50. And this was the most dangerous place to be today. In the area in deep red, the heat index, a combination of temperature and humidity, made it feel like the mercury was in triple digits. Prolonged exposure could lead to heat stroke. CBS News correspondents have fanned out across the heat wave area. We go first to Jim Axelrod, deep in the heat of Texas.
Talking heat in Texas is always a question of when, not if. Finally, when is now.
5-day forecast. Blah, 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 99, 100, 99.
After a mild start to the summer, the dog days are here. Cafe owners in Dallas are misting down their sidewalk tables. And the roofers are wearing umbrellas on their heads. It seems now like they're pumping more sweat than oil here in Texas.
We haven't seen the worst of this one yet, I don't think.
Texas is now home to the hottest flames in what's become our national furnace. 7 cities here posted heat indexes over 100 today, including San Antonio, where at the Alamo, they remember, go nowhere without a jug of water.
Cool us off. It was hot.
So once again, people here will start measuring their temperatures in 3 digits, not 2. And while the rest of the country wonders when this heat wave will end, Texans are asking an entirely different question. What took so long? Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Dallas.
In the Deep South, the suffocating heat in Hotlanta is trouble enough, but add atrocious air quality from smog and high levels of ozone, and health problems add up in a hurry. CBS's Byron Pitts has that part of the weather picture.
Today in Atlanta, the heat was bad, the smog was worse, the air pollution dangerously high. Many asthma sufferers could barely breathe.
Pollution, the heat, humidity, not a good combination.
Not a good combination at all.
Dr. Leon Haley is the ER director at Grady Memorial Hospital, where the number of heat stroke and heat-related injuries have doubled in the last week.
Right now, it's pretty dangerous. I think people are going to have to be very cautious about the amount of time and their activities that they spend in the heat. Heat illness can kill.
The heat killed a 79-year-old woman south of Atlanta who had gone to bed after she shut her windows and turned her air conditioner off. When she died, her body temperature was 108 degrees.
Dr. Haley says the very old, the very young, and those with respiratory problems are the most vulnerable. So in these conditions, simply staying cool may not be enough. Byron Pitts, CBS News, Atlanta.
As the drought worsens in the mid-Atlantic states, New York City notched another 90-plus day on its way to a record hot month. CBS's Elizabeth Caledon reports the Big Apple is baking.
With only 3 days left in the month, record keepers are getting ready to update the books. July of 1999 will soon officially be known as the hottest New York City has ever seen.
New York City is a heat island, and it has a major effect on the temperatures. Not only does it get much warmer in New York City, we also look at the fact that it keeps this warm temperatures because of the buildings, because of the streets.
The average temperature here for the last 28 days straight has been 81.4 degrees. That melts the record set in 1955 when the average was 80.9 degrees.
Ugh. Staying in the air conditioner primarily is my main concern.
It's a common goal. Utilities are experiencing record high demands, and though the water supply is in good shape, city officials are urging a common sense approach to water use.
Don't water your sidewalks. It is permitted by law, but obviously common sense would dictate
There's a simpler way to do it. It doesn't take any water. It's called a broom.
New Yorkers may be famous for being survivors, but living through the hottest July ever is a distinction many here would rather do without. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, New York.
Now, as for when the heat wave and drought might break, the government today unveiled a new highest of tech computer forecasting system. CBS's Phil Jones got a look and a prediction from the very top of the Weather Service.
The forecast today from the boss of the National Weather Service was...
I think you see some more of the same, but relief maybe towards the end of August.
James Baker says two things are different this year.
So we're seeing longer stretches of very hot days. We're also seeing warmer nighttime temperatures.
And that's not all. Last year, the nation was hit by 10 big storms. And Baker's forecast for this year, more and bigger hurricanes.
We're forecasting more than average, and you start looking for it about the beginning of August.
Now, you would think the National Weather Service would be able to look ahead and pick the perfect day for its own outside news conference. But
good morning, everyone.
There they were, all dressed up in their business suits in miserable 90-degree-plus temperatures to announce a new high-tech weather computer system. All the equipment for the new advanced weather computer system was inside. It takes in all the information from satellites, radars, and ground tracking, figures out what it all means, and then sends it to computer stations at 152 weather forecast offices. This provides more warning time.
15 years ago, we didn't actually forecast tornadoes. We told you when the tornado was on the ground. Now, 12 minutes in advance, we tell you. So I'll call that the revolution.
For this afternoon, partly sunny.
The forecast for the National Weather Service itself has never been better. Unfortunately, for the rest of us, the forecast is bleak. More drought, more heat, more hurricanes. Phil Jones, CBS News, Sterling, Virginia.
Space Shuttle Columbia is back on Earth after a hair-raising ride. This was the view from the cockpit as Commander Eileen Collins became the first woman to land a spaceship late last night at Cape Canaveral. NASA officials later confirmed that the shuttle had leaked fuel from ruptured tubes during takeoff, a serious problem that came close to forcing an emergency landing. Up in Earth orbit today, 2 cosmonauts took what could be the last spacewalk from the aging and accident-prone Russian space station Mir. After the current crew leaves next month, Russian space officials plan to leave the station unmanned and then junk it next year. President Clinton's top aides all praised General Wesley Clark today and denied the NATO commander is being punished by being forced to give up his job 2 months early next year. But military sources say the move reflects tension stemming from Clark's command of the air war against Yugoslavia. Among other things, he argued for keeping open the option of a ground war, a strategy rejected by President Clinton and the NATO allies. Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, what made the Senate Republican leader nearly burst into song? An extreme sport, extremely dangerous, and now deadly. And a woman trying desperately to save one dark corner of the world.
Looking for a great-tasting fiber therapy that won't produce excess gas? Discover Citracel. Citracel's fiber won't ferment to produce excess gas. And people prefer the taste and texture of Citracel over Metamucil. Get effective relief without excess gas. Get Citracel.
Yoo-hoo! Does your daily shower cleaner disinfect? Ooh, guess that's a no. Get Lysol Daily Shower Cleaner, the only one that disinfects. Lysol Daily Shower Cleaner helps protect. You have our word on it.
There are certain things your body is going through that the chemo is doing to you. I was tired, very, very tired. One time, my grandchildren were all over, and they all went out and got ice cream. And they're all lined up on the porch, all with ice cream. They start from the age of 3 all the way up to 18 years of age. What a photograph that had to be. I did not have the energy to go upstairs to grab the camera. I missed the photograph. To me, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Live your life. That's what I'm doing now.
Despite public warnings of don't do it by the chairman of the Federal Reserve, the Senate began debate today on a massive Republican-conceived tax cut bill. But the numbers, as they stand now, don't have a chance of getting beyond the White House. CBS's Diana Olick is covering the story.
Oh, happy day. I almost feel like singing.
Senate Republicans may be optimistic about their $800 billion tax cut plan, but Democrats are singing a different tune.
We'd rather have no tax cut than a tax cut we can't afford.
While that was the predictable response, more troubling was a warning today from Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan.
Probably would be better off holding off on a tax cut immediately.
As it stands, the Republican-backed bill reduces income tax rates for some low- and middle-income families, expands tax breaks for education, retirement, and health care, and reduces inheritance taxes. The net effect, according to a Treasury Department study, is that 67% of the plan's benefits go to the wealthiest 20% of American families. President Clinton says that's too much and too generous to the rich, and he'll veto it. Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott's reply, that's his problem.
If he vetoes a fair, honest tax relief package for working Americans that will encourage economic growth over a sustained period of time, that he has to defend that and explain that. Maybe he can get away with it. He's gotten away with an awful lot.
There are some Democrats in Congress who do want tax cuts, and today a bipartisan group tried to start the negotiating process with a compromise, a smaller tax cut package.
I think that what we have is people in both parties saying do it my way or don't do it at all. I think the American people would like us to do something.
The House passed an $800 billion tax bill last week. This Senate bill is likely to pass as well, and the final product is likely to be vetoed by the president. So in the end, Republicans get another campaign issue, and taxpayers get to wait. Diana Olick, CBS News at the Capitol.
On the CBS Market Watch, Compaq Computer is cutting 8,000 jobs, 12% of its workforce. This follows big losses in the second quarter. Fed Chairman Greenspan says, don't worry about the Y2K computer bug eating your bank account. He says you have a greater chance of losing your money if you take it out of the bank. A mixed day today on Wall Street. The Dow closed down about 7 points, but the tech-heavy Nasdaq gained 26 points. Two new surveys on HMOs out today show that both patients and doctors are disgruntled. One survey finds almost 9 in 10 doctors report frustration in dealing with HMOs and getting care for their patients. The other shows more than 1/4 of the patients have some kind of trouble obtaining care and services that they want. Coming up on the CBS Evening News, the adventure vacation that ended in disaster.
Out here, I'm in command. So am I supposed to say, slow down, guys, I'm constipated? I don't think so. You try to eat right. Sometimes you can't. Harsh chemical laxatives, they can kick in whenever and wherever. Not an option. So I rely on doctor-recommended Metamucil. It's got 100% natural fiber. Works with my body, gently, which is important to a sensitive guy like myself.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
There's nutrition news about heart disease. The B vitamin folic acid may help reduce homocysteine levels in the blood, an emerging risk factor for heart disease. And Centrum Silver has folic acid.
Centrum Silver. It's a great time to be silver.
Nancy will have to see from near to far almost 1,000 times today. Her eyes will focus on 40 labels, 60 charts, and 100 smiles. And in all that time, she'll never once think about the science that allows her to focus instantly at all distances. Nancy just knows that her Verilux lenses help her see better. And for her, that's a very comforting thought. Verilux, the comfort of better vision. For more information, call toll-free 1-800-VERILUX.
I've got those no Folgers in my cup blues. Need that fresh Mountain Dew taste to start my day. Oh, my blues to start flowing away. Got that good feeling coming on. With Folgers hot, steamy and strong. Oh yeah. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Yeah.
You've got to be quick to keep up with them. Quicker to help protect them. That's why Lysol disinfectant spray works in 30 seconds to kill 99.9% of germs. No spray works faster than Lysol spray. You have our word on it.
The 8th leading cause of death in America is suicide, accounting for 30,000 deaths every year. Today, the Surgeon General, for the first time, declared suicide a public health threat and announced a campaign to try to prevent it. Specific recommendations are due next year, aimed at educating people on how to recognize when someone is at risk of suicide and how to get help. In Europe, an obscure sport for thrill-seeking tourists has claimed at least 19 lives. They were swept away by a flash flood that roared down a mountain stream in the Alps. CBS's Richard Roth reports on a canyoning expedition that ended in catastrophe.
19 bodies were recovered from the Swiss Valley today before darkness stopped the search for 2 people still missing. It was called an adventure vacation. 45 tourists and their guides forging alpine rapids and rocky cliffs when a sudden rainstorm and a wall of water swept them away.
We can't tell this for the moment in which way they died, whether they drowned or they had head injuries that caused their death. We can't tell.
It happened in an instant, the alpine stream raging with mud and debris. Helmets and life jackets hardly mattered. Survivors phoned horror stories to relatives at home.
He said he was just tumbling under the water, just didn't know which way was up, which way was down. He doesn't know for how long, but he reckons he went through 6 waterfalls on the way down.
Canyoning is the name of the sport, described as whitewater rafting without a raft. Close to nature and close to danger, it draws adventurers who want vacations where there's no chance to call 911. And that's a growing market in the travel business.
They're looking for a little bit of an adrenaline buzz, a bit of excitement, something they can remember, something they can talk about when they get back.
The company that organized the trip said till this, nothing worse than a broken leg had marred their alpine adventures. Now, along with 50 other Swiss travel firms, it's decided canyoning tours will be suspended. Richard Roth, CBS News, London.
Straight ahead on the CBS Evening News, Assignment Romania, a real-life version of Les Miserables in the sewers of Bucharest.
My business runs on long hours and a leave. I can't settle for those pain relievers that quit too soon. Just 2 Aleve are strong enough to work all day. I used to need 8 Tylenol to do that. There's a tool for every job. For tough pain, it's Aleve.
If you're one of the 36 million people who wear dentures, this is big. New 5-Minute Polydent cleans stains, then forms an invisible PolyShield barrier so you feel fresh all day. 5-Minute Polydent with PolyShield.
Hi, I have a question about buying stock. What's the difference between a market order and a limit order? Hello? Excuse me.
When you have an investment question, does your online brokerage have anybody there to answer it? We do.
I love taking his picture. We've been married going on 35 years. The first time I saw him, I fell in love with him. And I was walking and I heard somebody whistle.
She wants to keep me around, I believe.
I keep telling him about taking care of his heart. We try to exercise and eat right, and we start our day off with a bowl of Cheerios.
And that's good, because the FDA agrees that low-fat diets rich in whole grain foods like Cheerios may reduce the risk of heart disease. Let whole grain Cheerios help you.
2 good partners.
He's my soulmate.
Got dirty sweat stains? Spray and Wash Advanced Stain Care penetrates faster than Shout and powers out those dirty sweat stains. See? So go ahead and
let them go with Spray and Wash.
Great meal.
Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster.
Hey, want to go for ice cream?
Gas X, the power to fight gas fast.
Shakespeare wrote, "The evil that men do lives after them." In Romania, 10 years after the demise of Nicolae Ceausescu, the effects of his disastrous rule are still multiplying. Among them, a generation of homeless orphans now producing a new generation who live on the streets and under the streets of Bucharest. CBS's Mark Phillips, in part 2 of his assignment in Romania, went down into their dark world with someone who's trying to light a candle of hope.
Sometimes one pathetic scene says it all. A severely handicapped teenager moves toward his regular begging spot near a streetcar stop. The passengers just step around him. This is a problem the Romanians not only don't do much about, it's one they've learned not to see. But the problem has been seen from a world away by a commuter railroad conductor named Susan Booth, who plies the daily run into New York City from Connecticut.
Tickets, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Susan is trying to give Romania's street children a ticket to a new life, one different from the miserable one they're now living on Bucharest streets, and under them, in the sewer tunnels they call home, where the main distraction is the glue sniffing that alleviates hunger. They're the survivors of the abandoned children discovered by a shocked world at the time of Romania's anti-communist revolution. How long have you lived like this? All your life you've been here?
Street?
Yeah.
I have 17 years.
17 years on the street?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they already lit a fire over there. One of the pipes caught on fire.
After seeing a TV report years ago on Romania's street child rejects, Susan Booth completely reordered her life to try to help them. She gave up an executive job on the railway and took a $13,000 a year pay cut to work the evening shift, freeing her days to run the one-woman charity she founded, to raise money, collect clothes, and make plans for the children she couldn't get out of her mind.
There are a lot of needy children all over the world, but these children that we're concentrating on here have been put out by their parents, and that, to me, is the greatest tragedy of their life.
So she comes to Bucharest along with Stephen Doyle, an Irishman who she met there and who shares her compassion.
I started to help them medically, like not me myself, but like bringing them to doctors and nurses. But the response that I got wasn't like, you know, hey, these are just street urchins. You don't want to get involved with these. I'm like, these are kids, these are human beings, flesh and blood like you and me.
But with the arrival of a new generation of street children, the children the original children are now inevitably having, the problem is getting worse, not better.
She's asked me to take him home.
Why?
She can't cope.
But Susan and Stephen can't take all the kids away. Instead, they're trying to break the cycle of desperation here.
The first step is going to be a mobile soup kitchen, where we'll do the cooking, put it in the back of the van, and drive to each of the sewer locations and get these kids used to a regular meal, hopefully once a day.
That's a project they figure will cost $70,000 to get going, and it's just a start. What these kids need is another place to live.
There's no way you can change a kid's life on the street and say you've got to take them off the street. They've got to be, you know, that's what I'm trying to do with Sue anyway.
Until then, they just have to count on the kids' remarkable capacity for survival.
Not only have they managed to survive, but they smile, they take care of each other, and those bits of humanity are bits that I don't know how they survive.
How or if they continue to survive may depend on the dedication of two guardian angels with big hearts, big dreams, and in need of big money to make them come true. On assignment in Bucharest, I'm Mark Phillips.
When we come back, a life and death struggle in Texas to come back from drought.
People breed dogs. Some people breed pretty dogs. Other people breed tough dogs. But every once in a while, one of those tough dogs hooks up with one of the pretty dogs. Introducing the new, redesigned 2000 Mitsubishi Montero Sport. Tougher, prettier.
Ask your doctor about Viagra.
Got heartburn caused by acid reflux? Only Gaviscon forms a soothing protective barrier that keeps acid down. Pepcid AC and Zantac 75 can't do that. Gaviscon, it helps keep acid down where it belongs.
I'm not a person who rushes into things until they're great. Like this new fabric spray, Resolve Fabric Refresher. It gets rid of odors safely and permanently. And dries fast. See, Resolve removes the toughest odors with a gentle mist. Your sofa's not only fresh smelling, in minutes it's dry. New quick drying Resolve fabric refresher. Why wait? It's in your laundry aisle now.
Did you know that mosquitoes are attracted to dark clothing? Did you know that a poison ivy rash can appear just 10 minutes after contact? That's why there's Fast Relief, new Cortisone 10 Quick Shot Spray. Nothing goes on faster to soothe and cool insect bites and poison ivy. And among these, it's the only one with the medicine doctors recommend most to stop itch and help heal. Need fast itch relief? Try Cortisone 10 Quick Shot Spray. What are you itching for?
With the stifling heat today, it was perfect timing for Virginia's famous Chincoteague wild ponies to take a dip. In a century-old tradition to thin the herd, about 130 ponies swam the 80 yards to shore from their home on the Assateague National Seashore. They'll be sold at auction to horse lovers for charity. We began our broadcast with reports of the heat and drought affecting so much of the country. Eventually, though, the rain does start to fall again. But in one Texas town, CBS's Maureen Maher reports the damage may have been irreparable.
As dawn breaks in Stanford, Texas, the morning sun shows what a little help from Mother Nature can do. A year after one of the worst droughts in Texas history, the fields are full of potential.
We're expecting good yields this year.
But instead of making up for last year's losses, this year's bumper cotton crop isn't selling at a profitable price. Farmers already in debt from the drought are in trouble yet again.
The price is the bad part of it. We're probably looking at hopefully 50 cents per pound, which is really not even a break even on cotton.
Last year's drought cost Texas farmers $1.5 billion. The state's economy took a hit of $4.5 billion. Because when crops in the heart of cotton country don't sell, the entire town feels it.
That lumberyard closed. We build one house every 2 years.
Ed Ekdahl is Stanford born and raised. Over the years, he's seen residents come, but with the growing economic struggle for farmers, he's mostly seen them go.
This was a prosperous little town when I grew up here. We had, 5 or 6 automobile dealerships in this town. We don't even have a used car place in this town right now.
The ripple effect is evident everywhere. Empty storefronts are filled only with memories. Griffin High's flower shop is a 76-year-old family business. Now he's struggling to make it to the century mark.
There are a lot of us who grew up here, and we try to do what we can to promote the town and see that it survives and prospers.
But even if they do survive the scars from last year's Dust Bowl drought, this season's plentiful harvest will not be enough, and there will likely be more heartache in the heartland. Maureen Maher, CBS News, Stanford, Texas.
And that's the CBS Evening News. For Dan Rather, I'm John Roberts, CBS News in New York. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Coming up on News Channel 5 at 6, Perry March has been the prime suspect in his wife's disappearance, but tonight someone else is being accused of killing her.
Plus, the plot for an elaborate murder-for-hire scheme is revealed in a